I like to use the analogy of Aikido, the martial arts form Aikido, because
Yes.
the whole idea of Aikido is you don't attack your opponent, you kind of redirect their energy.
Yes.
And so this is almost like, our own personal form of Aikido. But here's the trick that I'm hearing in this that I really need your help us getting through.
Okay.
It seems like the fundamental issue with imposter syndrome is that feeling of weakness or vulnerability. And yet the antidote is to just expose that. So
Yes, I know.
be vulnerable and weak with other people, which feels so uncomfortable in that moment. I don't play golf anymore, but it used to be when I would play golf, anyone who's ever taken a golf lesson, the first thing that you're ever asked to do is change your grip. And it's always into something really awkward and uncomfortable, like you're twisting your wrists around and wrapping your fingers up. And it's like, I don't want to do that. But it's designed to help get you more comfortable. So given vulnerability seems to be this hinge in all this, how do we embrace that? Because it's really hard for people, hard for me included.
Oh, vulnerability is it's so funny because we think of it as a weakness when in reality, it's one of the strongest things that we can do. And it takes more courage than almost anything else that we can do. So yes, I completely agree. For me, the linchpin was always 70% of people are feeling this too. And being able to recognize that this is not going to be a conversation where I am the only one who is going to bring this to the table. And in fact, since imposter syndrome mostly strikes high achievers, the people that I would want to learn from are very likely the ones who have felt this as well. And so I often find that the conversation starts really well with a question. And sometimes it's, hey, I was just listening to this podcast and heard about imposter syndrome. Is that a topic that you know? Sometimes it's, wow, you always seem so confident. How do you make that happen? And usually someone who's honest will start to laugh at that point and reply, boy, have I got you fooled. But there's a whole sense of just bringing it up, just asking about it. And honestly, more than 70% of the time, people are going to say, oh, thank goodness you said something. I feel exactly the same way.
I love some of the ways you set that up. I was almost thinking in my mind, you could go up and say, I'm asking for a friend.
Oh, totally asking for a friend. Yeah. Or my favorite with my students is, well, some folks have told me, right? Some people have said, but where I really think the conversations can be the most meaningful is with people who are in sort of more senior positions and are mentors. And I think it's incumbent upon us to say, man, I may make this look easy, but you can't see all the stuff going on. It's like a duck, right? You can't see the legs going crazy under the surface. It just looks like I'm gliding. And so my message now is for women who are, my age and moving into those more mature career stages, so that we can say, when we talk about it, it normalizes it and it makes it easier for other people who don't have the power or the stature that we do to talk about it as well. So I think the less vulnerable of us need to start the conversation.
I love that. And I think that is such a great call to action because it really is an invitation. It's going to be an invitation. So 70% of the people could be my new friend, right? And you're bringing people in, but also made me think as you were talking psychological safety. Right.
Yes.
We start off with this and we say, hey, look, I don't have all the answers. I'm not perfect. And then all of a sudden it just takes away some of the pressure in the room. Now people feel more free to ask for help earlier or share a half-baked idea or all the other things that we get when we feel more psychologically safe versus this, I got to be perfect because she's perfect or he's perfect. I mean, reality is they're just, on a journey like all of us.
Yes. And the more we realize that humanity, that shared sense of we're all just doing the best we can, I think it really changes a lot of our perceptions about ourselves and each other. It makes us more forgiving.